I think the story around the 2025 Toxic Avenger is probably slightly more interesting than the contents of the film itself. Because this is, of course, the remake of the Troma 1980s grindhouse classic. It's been in production for years. It was shelved for, I think, 2 or 3 years. Stars Peter Dinklage. But frankly, it's the fact that we've had a huge ratchet up of this film. The fact that we weren't sure whether it was going to be made and produced in the first place, or when it was produced, whether it was going to eventually be released, because it was during that era where films were being shelved or written off for tax purposes. Films like Batgirl or the Looney Tunes film. But finally having seen this in the theatre, I won't pretend that it is, a great coming of a new classic, because I think the Toxic Avenger original came at a time when it was quite shocking. There was something quite radical and rebellious about it. Whereas in this era, it is still quite graphic. It is still quite part of an extreme exploitation style with a slightly more knowing, winky, comedic sensibility to it, because it is probably a little bit better written than that original one, and it is significantly better shot and acted. But I think what made that original so beloved was the fact that it was slightly rough and slightly rubbish and slightly sort of held together by string, whereas this is tidier, cleaner, better performed, knowingly awkward in places, or knowingly sort of where it pretends that things are goofy or awkward or badly put together, whereas we know it's slickly made, and it is a good looking film for what it is, and it is funny in places. But it's tricky, because I don't know if people will think that the 2025 Toxic Avenger will stand the test of time like the original did, that whether people will think, oh, Peter Dinklage was great as the new Toxie, that the effects were cool, that the graphic violence was standout, because we are now in an era where we do see a fair amount of graphic violence, and I can't say that it's unique in that respect. And so it's fun. It is a fun, very strange, very silly, knowingly self-aware comedy with some real graphic violence to it, with interesting characters like Elijah Wood and Kevin Bacon. But again, I can't pretend that this will leave a lasting imprint with me. It is simply, what a fun and strange novelty to see this in this year.